So I did end up driving all the way into Maine. I use an app called Seeker, S-E-K-R, and I was able to find on that app a place called Hollis Open Campsite. And anyone who has Seeker can actually go look at it. It says that it's dispersed camping in Maine. Doesn't have any reviews or anything, but other than that, it just says dispersed camping, Hollis, Maine. Now, because I drove all the way through New Hampshire, I didn't get into Maine until after dark. And since I committed to that site, I was going to go ahead and just stay there for the night. Now, mind you, the interesting part about it was that the location was actually a used car lot. So I ended up backing my vehicle in and camping, sleeping in the driver's seat next to a bunch of other used cars. I did wake up early in the morning because I wanted to make sure that someone didn't come in and try to snatch up Sarah, because I know that if I saw that vehicle on a lot, I would want it immediately.
Kind of looks like he's blocking my way. I wonder if he wants a ride. Who wouldn't want to ride with Sarah?
Start. I need someone to empty this heart.
Looking at the Seeker app, I'm thinking, man, there's so many different places. I did a little quick snapshot of the western portion of Maine, central portion of Maine, and eastern portion of Maine, just to give you an idea. I was going to just drive around, sightsee, check out the coast, see what I can do to get some footage, but also look for a place along the way in order to find a good spot to stay. And then I would just be able to travel throughout the state doing that. And, well, it didn't quite turn out the way that I expected. For example, I almost immediately, as I turned onto the road that ran adjacent to the coast, I came across this spot that had beach showers, and I thought, perfect, score. Well, not really. I got out. They were closed for the season.
Nevertheless, a caress. So let me give you a part of myself, she said.
But I made it to the town of York, Maine, and Sarah's sitting over there in the parking lot, all nice and neat. Would like to have stayed the night here, but you can't stay overnight. But a little lighthouse over there, and the surf pounding the shores. Beautiful location. 45 degrees, comfortable in Maine.
For the scuba diving enthusiasts among us, this is actually a really great area to do a shore dive. You walk off into the surf there, off of the rocks, and the area between the parking lot and the lighthouse is relatively deep. It would take a lot of courage to step off into that surf, though. Apparently the area has a very biodiverse ecosystem that draws a lot of researchers from the area.
in. Do what you believe in.
I could climb the highest peak, could dive the deepest sea. I can't fail 'cause you're watching over me. I could walk on burning coal, need a fight or freezing cold ever hurts me since the day you saved my soul. I am strong 'cause I know I've got you on my side, and my faith is a burning flame. And as long as I know I have you on my side,
As I continued to travel, I was having no luck at all finding places to stay. Each of the locations that I arrived, I would find that they are either closed for the season or they were no longer available and should have been removed from the Seeker app. So after a little bit of yacht hunting, I went ahead and headed back west to a campsite that I did confirm was open, the Colonial Mast Campground. I believe that I may have been the only Texan in Maine looking for a place to camp. The people that lived in Maine had no interest whatsoever in camping. Apparently it was a little too cold for their taste.
no will come. Oh Jesus.
Got the fire burning in western Maine. Maine wood purchased from Fort Kent. Got a 5-gallon bucket of water sitting there. That bucket was provided by the camp hosts. And a little bit more firewood to enjoy the evening.
All my enemies will fade.
This is what is typically the office area that they use. This is on the backside, over closer to the lake itself, Mast Cove. And again, they only use this primarily during season. So the end of May through, I think Pete said October, the end of September or beginning of October. Don't quote me on that, but as you can see, like even now there's still snow on the ground. Now, I mean, a lot of this is scraped snow that he's basically just cleaned, or cleared I should say, the drive for the customers that are using the site. Coming to you from Colonial Mast Campground, and this is actually a really nice campground with a lot of decent amenities, one of which is a indoor pool. So the building behind me is actually the location of an indoor pool, and what they're using this building for right now is a winter office. So they have the office adjacent to the pool. Office is right behind me, pool's over there, and they're doing that because it's open to the public. It's open year round, and it's just a source of income or revenue stream for the winter. A heated pool comes in handy in Maine. This campground, Colonial Mast Campground, is located adjacent to Mast Cove. And there's a bit of history behind Mast Cove, and I want to go into that. But what I wanted to do is show you the building that's available. Inside the building there are restrooms. So you've got men's restroom. This is the office behind me, at least for the winter. Again, there's a different building that they use for the summer office. And you've got women's restroom, and then you've got 3 shower stalls, which are really, really handy. And there's the pool, the indoor pool, heated. So this room is real warm just because of the humidity from the pool and the heaters themselves. Again, a really nice campsite, and it is owned by Pete and Debbie, or Deborah. I know that I talked to her on the phone, but I can't remember if she said Deborah or Debbie, so I just kind of default to the formal. But they were able to get me a site. Most of the sites at this campground are actually lived in year-round, either by individuals on this side of the campground, and then directly behind me is an area where there's a lot of RVs, and I'm going to walk back there, but I'm not going to film most of that because it is their private property. But they live here either over there year-round, or they house them, pay a storage fee year-round, and it's available to them obviously anytime they want, or they come in the spring through the summer, fall, and then when it gets cold, head back down to Texas. I'm probably one of the oddballs out from Texas driving up to Maine, and one of the things that I noticed is that every campsite, just about every campsite that I've gone to, even the ones that were listed as seasonal, were closed. They don't open until mid-May. Some May 6th, as early as May 6th, some the 15th of May, some is it Labor Day, I believe. So in that case, I'm way too early, and it's probably going to preclude me from having the opportunity to spend some time in Maine, at least over an extended period of time. But I wanted to introduce the campsite itself, and then I'm going to go into some historical significance on the location of the campsite. The significance of the area itself, what I wanted to do is just present to you what is referred to as Mast Cove. Mast Cove is a portion of this lake, and the half of the state, basically the west half of the state, is referred to as the lakes area. And in this case, this is adjacent to a huge lake, and this particular cove is referred to as Mast Cove because the British, when they, of course, colonized this area, would identify trees specific as Kingswood or King's lumber, and they needed specifically lumber that was greater than 24, larger in diameter than 24 inches. And that 24 inches was used primarily as the masts for the ships. The British had a fleet of wooden ships, and they had to put masts in order to sail. And you need a solid piece of wood to do that. So you would have the King's mark on wood, on trees, I should say, that are 24 inches in diameter or larger. Many of the trees that are here obviously would have been harvested and have now grown relatively significant. You can see a tree. First of all, the trees behind me, if you can see them, are relatively straight. They're growing very, very straight and very, very tall. I can actually show you one that's right directly behind me. And it was actually against the law to harvest one of those trees that had the King's mark. And again, they used wood from all over the colonies. This area is well known for having the tallest, basically the straightest, and of course at the time, the early 17th century, early to mid 17th century, and through the middle of the 18th century, obviously they used this area to build the ships, and of course used these tall pines as the masts for those ships.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
All the best, always.
Wanna come down to the underground old school? Here's a shovel, can you dig it, fool? Can you dig it? Can y'all dig it?
What the? A mysterious foible that I have to deal with Sarah every once in a while is the alarm going off. Just out of nowhere, I'll get in and the battery will have disconnected itself. I get out, I twist the positive battery terminal, and she'll start right back up. I've got a brand new battery. I've cleaned the terminals. I've got a solution that I put on the terminals to make sure that it's not corroded. And yet this is something that I get to deal with every once in a while.